no matter which software you're talking about, they've all got a situation where we're like, why do they do that? Or why don't they accommodate that? Or why don't they figure out, because that software down there, which I don't like, it has that. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. Welcome to you if you're in YouTube land. My name's Max. I'm the CEO here at Smith & Sons in Canada, and I'm the founder at elitebusinessadvisory.com. Good to have you along for the ride. If you're a first-time listener, big love. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you get something out of it. And if you've been with us for the long time, great to still have you with us. I appreciate your support and your ear. Don't forget, like and subscribe. One of these drops every week. Leave a comment. Nice one would be good. And, if you're feeling generous, how about leaving us a review on this podcast platform of your choice, because that's the only way the word gets around. So we really want to bring as much value as we can. Don't forget, Business for Builders VIP. Get over there. It's a community of general contractors. There's collaboration and a little bit of chit-chat about how things go in the different neck of the woods, and I think that's a great place to get the ball rolling. And if you've been in there for a while, don't forget to help out, and if you've got some knowledge out there, give it up. Talk to some other folks in that group, and I think that will go a long way. Karma is awesome. If you got any questions you want to ask of me, Max at elitebusinessadvisory.com, but your best bet would be to hit the elitebusinessadvisory.com website, hit the book a consultation, and grab a 30-minute phone call or a 30-minute Zoom call. That's where you're going to get your best bang for your buck, and I would love to have a chat with you rather than sit there and write you an email. So how about that? Righto, we are in the final part. We're actually talking about, this is part 6 of a 6-part series. I'm feeling really good about, running a series occasionally just to create some continuity, because sometimes it's difficult to share a lot about certain concepts in one episode. And so we really wanted to put together a bit of a library of, subject matter to do with business development as it relates to construction operators, builders, general contractors, and, even subcontractors. This would be relevant to. So this part 6 is super easy one. I haven't talked about technology yet, but we want to make sure that we are integrating technology at all levels into our business. And I've got one of my guys in the Smith & Sons group here in Canada who is a technology freak, and I think he's an asset to the company in the way that he really does, want to not only systemize but really create leverage off the back of technology. And so, if you don't want leverageability and you don't want to increase your bottom line or your revenue and your profitability, then don't embrace technology. I think all of my clients bar one, and even the one is considering at the right time, and I think that's a good tactic. I actually like that. He's like, well, once we get the business to XYZ milestone, then I will go and sign up for a subscription. So what I love about that is there's not he's not naive. He's just applying some common sense to his financial position and looking at the commitment level. So there's not too many that I come across nowadays. In the early part, definitely, I use Excel spreadsheets and I use Word documents. And there's just so much work. There's so much double entry. It really is difficult to crack. And look, I guess if you only want to do $250,000 or $500,000, you can get away with something like that. But if you're the kind of entrepreneur, someone that not just has entrepreneurial tendencies, but someone who lives and breathes business building and the game of business, then you're going to want to really start systemizing, thinking about how you can do it better. So, look, I think let's start with the boring one. Folks, you need an online cloud-based accounting software. If you want to, what I'm looking for, if you were to come on board as an Elite Business Advisory client, I'm going to request a view-only access to your cloud-based accounting software. That helps me see the state of the union as it relates to profit and loss, and as it relates to balance sheets and things like that, so I can get a good understanding very quickly as to where you're up to and what I'm dealing with. And then we can really work on a bit of a strategy that's very customized going forward. So the first thing I would absolutely recommend, for the little charge that it is, somewhere between $25 and $35 a month, it's very handy to ensure that you have not only an accounting software package, but one that is accessible via apps, and that mobility is important as well. Right, job management softwares, that needs to be something that we embrace. Now, are you cursed with choice in this day and age? Absolutely. I mean, I can literally think of a dozen off the top of my head, and it's horses for courses, man. I mean, people say to me, Max, which do you recommend? And I'm like, what type of human are you, dude or dudette? And what type of work do you do, and what sort of revenue are you going to punch out? I mean, I would say if you want to put a business together between $1.25 million and $1.75 million, perhaps at the top end, Build Exact is a good one. I think that's it's very much a spreadsheet, but it's evolving all the time. Has its limitations, and that's the thing, right? So even though it has its limitations, it can work. It's not a bad software at all. And so, but then there's, if you want to go and take a business to 5 or 10 million, that's where that's going to run out of legs, quite honestly. And so you need to consider something else. So, look, I can make some recommendations offline. If you want to email me, Max at Elite Business Advisory, I'm happy to shoot back a bit of an opinion about that. But I just want to make sure that I understand where you're coming from. So again, if you want to chat with me about software, mate, I'd love to chat with you about software. So hit me up on a book of consultation. Don't send me an email. Those sort of, they take me some time. Whereas if I can get with you for 30 minutes, I'm going to give you exponential value. Right. So job management software, we want everything that it does up front. You want to minimize the double entry as well, because in some cases you've got to enter it twice, which is ridiculously annoying. And look, no matter which software you're talking about, they've all got a situation where we're like, why do they do that? Or why don't they accommodate that? Or why don't they figure out, because that software down there, which I don't like, it has that. Build Exact's got a great graphic takeoff tool. I love it. I think it's great. I can really do, basement bill of quantities fairly quickly. So, there's certain things about Build Exact that guys go, oh, geez, I really love that. And it's a bit of a bummer that this other software hasn't got that. I would just love it if, one of them got it all together. And I'm sure they're doing their best to do that. But you got to make sure you've got some sort of, obviously, a client portal is always good. I know Build Exact have one of those. Obviously somewhere you can put client information in that you can take notes whilst you're in the sales process. You want to make sure that it can, generate your quote letters. It can develop specifications. What's good about Build Exact is as you put line items into your estimate, you can then nominate that to be a specification item. That lands by just automatically into specifications. And then you can also add, once you jump across into specifications, you can add a picture in there. So that part of it, when it comes to presentation, matter of fact, one of my guys today, side note, presented, a job or a proposal that was over 100 grand. He's marking up 45%, and it looks like that one's going to go ahead. So, and his presentation was wicked, right? He uses another piece of software, not Build Exact. And, it was a really great presentation, but he's a great salesperson, and he's my systems guy. So it makes a lot of sense that he's delivering that at the highest level. So, you want to be able to develop your items and components. You want to be able to put together your specifications simultaneously. You want to make sure that you can include pictures, because when people are reading through your list of specifications, if you're doing fixed price, and they're looking at lines of text, remember, they're emotional. It's not going to line up with them. And so, having the ability to add the pictures to the line items is really a great part of that. You want to make sure you can do change orders, work orders, invoicing, obviously generate receipts and invoice statements and things like that. It's really important that you've got a very comprehensive piece of software and one that suits you. There was one piece of software I was chatting with one of my guys on the east coast of Australia, and he made reference to, this software is really good, and except all of my I'll call it a catalog, but it was a price list essentially, or a template, couldn't be downloaded via into an Excel sheet, which is irritating, because if you ever want to go and change over, you've got to go and line item that. So I did him a solid and converted that to a Word document, and then basically cut and paste that out of it into his Build Exact, because I've definitely got a handful of clients that are using Build Exact as well. So yeah, guys, the downside with Build Exact, just side note, is the app that they've got. You would think that the app would actually reflect what's in your job management software on your PC or your laptop. It does not do that. and I downloaded it, looked at it, laughed, and then got rid of it. So I've spoken to people at Build Exact, and they're shaking their head as well. So it's a bit confusing as to why a job management software or a software company would do that. Right. Now, the other thing is, just to finish on real quick, I think that as it relates to project planning, that's the other thing. And I think obviously if you've got Build Exact, it's going to have that Gantt chart capability in there, which means I can go through and really list out the task for a project and calculate what my project duration is going to be. So, you might have a piece of software that doesn't have that. You're going to have to go searching for a Gantt chart type software, because you might be able to, get the job and win the job and contract the job and invoice for the job. But if you've got no ability to control the schedule, then you're kind of dead in the water because you're flying blind. You'll go back to the days where we used to draw it out in line in grid paper and, try to work out a bit of a Gantt chart in that way. Make sure that you have appropriate project planning and assessment tools. What did I just watch an ad? And this is not a shout out, but I think it was Company Cam. It was a roofer who was using that technology, and I was pretty blown away. I'm always interested, right? Still with your eyes and ears. Always interested in how do we create efficiency using technology. And so, anywhere we can, store or, trap or gather data, store the data, and ensure that it is easier to get your hands on the data when you need it, like retrieval. That's always a good thing as well. I know my software guy in the office loves Magic Plan to draw out plans, so get over there and check that one out, guys. There's a thing called LiDAR, which if I was in this studio here, I could actually just run around and very slowly can actually reproduce the 3D, the virtual of that room pretty accurately. But even my latest model iPhone doesn't have LiDAR. My iPad does. So when I upgrade, I will make sure that I've got that. But Magic Plan seems to be, and again, true to form, my guy is like, yeah, it's great. And then there's just this little slither of irritation, which is like, why did they not address that? And it comes from an operational standpoint. I guess if guys aren't in the field using it day in, day out, they don't get to see some of those discrepancies. But, putting that together, being able to take those photos, 3D modeling, super important. I know that when I used to be able to put together a plan, like a 2D plan, and then throw that up as a 3D, people could literally walk through, let's say, a basement remodel that is an unfinished basement, and they could actually get an understanding of how the cabinets were going to look and just really do a tour. And of course, this day and age with realtors doing what they do, some of that stuff's outstanding. So 3D modeling is a big deal if you want to close sales. And I'm telling you, if you don't get with the program right across the board, everything that I've just been mentioning, you're really going to struggle to be competitive. I think, you've got to be on the front foot with technology. I wouldn't say it is a massive competitive advantage, but I think in this, in the industry that we're in, getting quotes back to clients is the toughest thing. And getting quotes to clients that you can rely on, where, on some of the bigger jobs, you've got to get quotes in from your subcontractors and suppliers. Any time that we could really turn that around, the quickest, that would definitely be advantageous for your business. So, assessment tools as well. And I think that's where that Company Cam really does help you with storing that. So when you can go and do assessments, you're looking at maybe, you're handing over and you want to make sure. Matter of fact, if you're renting a car, you could probably use Company Cam and run around with that with a video. Because, if you're like me and taking screenshots and photos and videos, and I'm videoing every play on my kids' football team, you got massive amounts of, I think I've got over 10,000 pictures and videos. So you really don't want to try and mix your work stuff in amongst all of that, home life stuff. You really want to make sure that you're organizing that it is being trapped somewhere, stored on the cloud, that you can retrieve it in a very organized fashion. So get amongst technology, make sure you're using that type of integration to create efficiencies in your business. And essentially why we are creating systems is so that we can get our time back. That's the ultimate goal is to use these systems to ensure that we do get a little bit more enjoyment and a better lifestyle. So think about that. Again, if you've got any questions around that, hit me up on email, max@elitebusinessadvisory.com, or get across to elitebusinessadvisory.com and hit the blue button there, and let's spend 30 minutes just shooting the breeze, but specifically talking about some strategy, chatting about your business, and come to me with, if you're really just like, I don't know where to start, and I see that all the time. I don't know whether I'm punch board or drilled. Just get ready to tell me what you love about your business and what you hate about your business, and I'll do the rest. We'll figure out what the real top level pain points that we need to address to get your business moving would be. And it's an exciting adventure that I love to embark on with business owners. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. If you've got a question, make it a nice one. Shoot across to Business for Builders VIP and answer the questions. And if you're a good sort, let you in. And let's get amongst it and let's really try and make 2024, now that we're into it, the best year yet. So profit more in 24 is the claim. And, it really comes from being systemized and pricing jobs right. I'm surprised how many guys are really leaning out on their profit. Matter of fact, I had a meeting with a guy today. We're looking at a spreadsheet, just a spreadsheet, but it's quite as the Canadians would say, quite a skookum spreadsheet. It's got a lot of data there. And I might even start calling it my fortune teller spreadsheet, because accountants and bookkeepers look retrospectively and go, you've got a tax bill for 50 grand because this, this, and this. And you're like, what? What I'm trying to do is forecast. I want to look at historical data and predict the future. And so, that's one of the big tells, when I'm talking with, like today, the guy I was chatting with, and it was just, you could just see the lights came on. He said, this is like forecasting or predicting the future more so than just waiting for it to happen to us. And guys, we want to make data-driven decisions. How do we make data-driven decisions if we don't have data to drive decision-making? It's impossible. And so, I just really went and rehashed the whole spreadsheet. It's got 20 columns on it, everything to do with, what you need to get as far as inquiry right through to return on advertising spend. And so, it's a really powerful tool, and it needs some work to curate and maintain. But I'm telling you, if you haven't got that, you are flying blind. You do not know what's going on within your business, and it's a dangerous place to be. And that's why 50% of guys and girls, just like you, just like me, go out of business in 5 years. But get aboard the Business for Builders train, the elitebusinessadvisory.com train, and mate, you're going to run a really good chance of, understanding, educating, learning, getting some self-awareness, and really developing the business that you can be proud of. So let us help you build a kick-ass business. We'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.